You state your name and the spelling.
My name now, Norbert E. Hayden. E's for Ephraim.
How do you spell that?
Ephraim, E-P-H-R-A-I-M. That's the middle name.
Okay.
Norbert Ephraim Hayden.
H-A-Y-D-E-N?
Right. N-O-R-B-E-R-T.
Okay. When were you born?
September 28, 1896.
Where were you born?
St. Paul, Missouri.
Who were your parents?
My father's name, Leo W. Hayden, and my mother was Mary Clements, C-L-E-M-E-N-C-E, Mary Clements Hayden.
Okay. What did your father do for a job?
He was a farmer.
Farmer? Was the farm near St. Paul then?
It was 4 miles from St. Paul, 400 acres.
Did you work on the farm then?
Yes, sir. I drove a Titan tractor many a day. Titan tractor, International Harvester. I sowed plenty of wheat with horse-drawn for wheat drills. I did, when I was 15 years old, I did a man's job all the time. Please.
Just keep talking, I'm going to adjust the lights a
Sir?
little bit. Just keep talking, I'm going to adjust
Okay.
the lights a little bit. Whoops.
So today the kids my age don't know what work is. They don't. I walk in the mornings. I get up at the milk cows I walk 4 miles to school.
Each way?
Each way, 4 miles each way to school. They milk the cows before you go. And it does. The winters back in those days were much colder than they are now. The climate has changed drastically.
Oh, yeah.
We used to, I skated 4 miles on ice to school already.
Oh, my.
When it'd be sleet and ice on the ground, stay on there all month. So the kids today don't know nothing about that. Don't appreciate it either.
No, you're right.
They don't appreciate that. We never had no telephone, no electricity, no electric fans, no refrigeration, no telephone. I remember when they put the first telephones in.
What year was that?
I don't remember what year it was, but I remember the man put a box on the wall, and our ring was short, long, and too short. I was our ring. Whenever they done that, we answered. If anything else than that, don't answer it. That's the telephone. Now, I remember before they had the rural mail delivery, FDR, rural free delivery, RFD.
Yeah.
I remember when they put that in. Before that, we had to go to 4 miles to the store to get your mail.
Oh.
And then they put that rural free delivery, and then we got a mailbox and they delivered it to on the road. That's going way back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to get the reflection out of your glasses.
Doing all right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's not
I don't see
there.
it reflecting now.
Okay. Playing back and forth here.
Is that tape rolling?
Yeah.
Now there's a reflection of the light in this lamp. Just wouldn't turn it
Okay.
on. Yeah, now it's off.
I think we got it fixed there. Oh, let's see. Where did you go to school?
In St. Paul, they had a parochial school there.
I get the reflection back.
Parochial school in St. Paul.
Yeah, since he turned his head he turned it this way. No, now the reflection is back, yeah.
Not sure where it's coming from.
There's two of them, see? The overhead lights are off. This light isn't on. And I wouldn't be, I mean, it wouldn't be the lamp necessarily. The only other lamp is the one you got on there.
I don't know where it's coming from.
Huh? Can't get it right?
Turn that lamp off. Okay, now you don't have it.
Yeah, it's a little bit dark though.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see.
Well, this one. Where's this one? Where's the switch on this one?
Oh, it's
Oh, just got to plug it in. Let's see what this one looks like. No.
Oops.
No.
No.
That reflection in your glasses again.
Yeah, it's.
It won't work.
That was blinding.
What if we plug it in back here? Would it get much? No, no, it would. I think it puts out the heat that you got there.
Yeah.
That better?
There's no reflection now.
I think he's bright enough. Somewhere in there, but if you think it's bright enough.
How's it look?
Well, there's no reflection, and it's, you know, bright as you can be, I suppose. It can't make anything brighter than putting the light right on it.
Okay.
I mean, you get some idea by looking through the camera.
It looks all right in here. Okay, we'll try again. Oh. Did you ever go to the World's Fair in St. Louis?
I didn't go, but I remember it.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah, I was 8 years old. I was one of the kids. We had a big family, and my older brothers and sisters went. I remember it. They come home and told me about it. I remember it, 1904. Mm-hmm. My youngest brother was born in December 1901, and I remember the day he was born. It was 20 below zero and a big snow on the ground. He was later doctor. He's a medical doctor here in St. Louis. He died several years ago. He had health weren't bad on him, but I remember the day he was born. I had 5 brothers and 4 sisters.
What were their names?
The Lawrence, the boys, Henry.
Okay.
Henry W. and Lawrence J. I'll give the brothers. Lawrence and John and myself and then Leo and Dr. Loyola. He was a baby. He was a doctor. Then I had 4 sisters.
Okay.
Their names, Beatrice, Mary Rose, Mary Clement, Clema, Mary Clement, and Cecilia.
Clemens. What about, what kind of games did you play when you all were small?
But we played baseball and some soccer, mostly baseball. I didn't have much time to do games. I had to work. I had to work on a farm. I'd done many a days farm work, man's job. In those days, the winters were so cold, my father would take the horses, the work horses, take them to the blacksmith shop and have those sharp shoes put on them. Do you ever know that? Yeah, I've taken them to the blacksmith shop myself already, and they put them sharp shoes on her. They'd fall. My man, I saw a lot of animals fall, take terrible falls on the ice. Then it'd stay on her all winter, because it wasn't like it is now. Then I had to walk to school.
You remember when you saw your first car?
First car? Yes. Tar Grove Park in St. Louis. There's a Plymouth Roadster. I bought it second hand.
Oh, that was your first car?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Goodness knows. I don't remember. I don't remember what year it was. Probably it had to be after World War One.
Yeah.
It had to be after that.
You remember?
Because I remember, I never had, first job I had after I come back from the war was First National Bank here in St. Louis.
Huh.
You want to know how much the salary was? They paid us every 2 weeks, $27.50. Then put brand new money in an envelope and give it to you. $27.50 every 2 weeks.
No income tax then, though.
Huh?
No income tax then.
No.
Smoke there over this dust.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it is.
You remember the very first car you ever saw
First, yes,
when you were little?
is a Ford. Ford runabout. My uncle, Uncle Norbert, the one I was named after, my mother's brother, was a medical doctor in St. Paul, and he had that first Ford runabout, and you know how much it cost? $365.
What year was that?
Oh, goodness. It must have been around I would guess, probably 1910 or 11, long in there. I don't know for sure, in that area. But I remember it had brass radiators on there, runabout. Now, you didn't ask me what kind of a car I had, the last car I had.
What was that?
Huh?
What was
1984 Cadillac. I bought that car and drove out it brand new in 1984 in Florida.
Where in Florida did you live?
Whereabouts?
Yeah, where in Florida?
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon, Florida. It was nothing there when I went there, but now it's big city.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that, everything expands and grows, you know.
Oh, expansion, yeah. Strawberries. I picked strawberries down there for 20 years.
Oh, you did?
Every Monday I'd go out and I had a friend that had the agriculture experiment station for the state. Good friend of mine. Every Monday I'd go out there and pick all I wanted.
You moved to Florida after you retired?
Yeah. And in 1961.
1961.
Yeah.
How come you picked Florida? You have relatives down there?
No, I didn't know anybody down there. I went down there, but I just got 100 birthday cards. 100.
100.
That box full here of cards, and the biggest bunch of them is from Florida, friends.
Yeah.
I got a world of friends down there.
Oh, I believe it.
They call me up. They call me up, and I call them back.
Well, how nice. He's taking some of your still pictures here, too.
Huh?
He's going to take your picture while you're talking.
Okay.
Battery. You don't have any more batteries over here.
I put some in here.
Can't be logical place for it.
When did you join the Navy?
Oh, when did I join the Navy?
Yeah.
In 1918. Spring of 1918. It's all on that tape if you'd like to hear it.
Well, I'd like to get it all on this one.
Oh, well, I can tell you what it was.
Why did you join?
I went in St. Louis. I'll tell you the little history of that.
Okay.
I went down in the Fullerton building in St. Louis. I went down there to enlist in the Navy. They didn't have everything was, no drafting of the Navy. At that, I was all volunteer. I went down there to enlist, and they had a recruit officer standing at the door, at the office door in the building, and he had the scales out there. If you didn't weigh enough, it wasn't use going in. He weighed me. I didn't weigh quite enough, and he told me, He told me I was a pound or two short, I don't know, just a little bit. He told me to come back later. Says, you wait a while and come back and you try again. And he told me, he said, I would suggest you eat a lot of bananas. That's very, he told me that. And anyhow, when I went back, maybe a couple of weeks later I went back, and I got by him. I got inside, and they had physical examination.
Yeah.
And I passed everything, but I had a varicose vein. It was protruding. And he said, I can't take you. So if you have it operated on, surgical operation, maybe we can do something about it. So the next day, I went to the city hospital and told the doctors down there about it, and they operated on me, put flags on my bed and everything. And then after that all healed up, I went back and they took me. And we went. I went to the Great Lakes, and that's when that influenza was terrible bad up there.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah, they were dying. A express carload of bodies went out there every day. And the man that I slept in the Pullman with from St. Louis to Chicago, going up there, within 10 days after he was up there, he was dead. And they was recruiting us up there to help embalm them guys.
Yeah.
And my brother went up with me, Leo. He was in there with me.
Oh, he's in the Navy too. Huh?
Yeah. And I didn't know, we was quarantined, that I couldn't tell who was dying and who wasn't. I was afraid I was going to help embalm my brother. I was worried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was bad. And they had a publication of the issue there, the paper, on the Great Lakes paper, and it was from a St. Louis paper, either Post-Dispatch or the Globe, I don't know which one. An article in there addressed to me. They wanted me to send my picture and an article about it, because on account of me going through that surgical operation to get in.
Yeah.
They wanted to give me an honor for that. But I was quarantined, I couldn't follow it up.
Now, why did you join in the first place?
Why did I? I guess I was patriotic. I wasn't yelling. I guess that was it, I don't know. But,
Do you remember when you first heard that America was at war?
what?
Do you remember where you were when you first heard that America was at war?
Where I was? Well, I was there. I was going to high school then.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I left there and went down and joined up.
What was the name of the high school?
Well, I went to a couple of different ones. Wentzville High School, I went there, and I went to Chaminade College here in St. Louis. You ever hear of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I went there. Brother, I can tell you the name of the priest down there. Father E.I. and Father Rabe, R-A-B-E, two priests. And Brother Peter and Father and Brother William. And that was 80 years ago.
You have a good memory.
I know, I've been so told that.
How long were you up at the Great Lakes?
About a couple of months or so, I don't remember. I went through all those different camps up there. Farragut, Dewey, had 3 or 4 different ones. There was 40,000 sailors up there when I was there.
What kind of training did they give you?
What kind of training? Well, it was mostly drilling and helping build barracks and things like that. We worked day and night up there. The carload of lumber would come in during the night. We had to go out and help unload it at Great Lakes. And then from there they put us all on a troop train, went to New York. Then they put us up there and they divided them all up. We went on to sign me to the George Washington. And that thing was a massive. And the first man that I saw on that ship was a Vincent Molitor from St. Paul, Missouri.
Huh.
He made his first communion the same day I did, with my class, and here I meet him on that boat. And he took me around and showed me that thing that's big boat, massive inside, you know, all where the bathroom, they call it the head. And he showed us all the different places, you know.
What kind of uniform did you have?
Uniform? We had blues with, and dungarees. Those blue denim, I guess, you know, blue outfits. And that went. So they assigned me to meals waiting on tables. I had 20 of the crew on my table. I had two big tables, 10 men at each table. And I had to go up in the galley and carry the food back down to them. And at sea, boy, I set the table ready and go up to get my food at the galley and come back, all the plates and everything was on the deck. The boat was rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, storms and everything.
Did you get seasick?
Oh, yeah. I remember the first night I was on the ship. We left out, no lights on the ship. And the submarines out there. And no lights. When I was there at night, New York, out of the harbor, I went up on the top side and laid on the top deck. Boy, it's nice up there. And when I went back and we slept in hammock, I went down and got my hammock. Next morning, when they wake you up, or they make a big noise when you get up. And when I hit as soon as the angle iron, you had to let yourself down out of the hammock. It was the angle iron. As soon as my feet hit that deck, I was seasick. Boy, I had to get up the side quick to vomit. Ooh, man, quick. I was terrible, but I never was so bad I couldn't do my work.
Huh.
But after that, when you get in storms, I'd feel a little tension of it. But the lemon, you just suck on a lemon a little bit, it'd settle that.
Oh.
Lemon juice would help it.
How was the food?
Food was poor.
What did you have to eat?
What do we have to eat? Well, lots of beans, navy beans, and for instance, on a Thanksgiving, I remember they supposed to have a turkey dinner. And I think they took the turkeys and put it on a block and just chopped it up. It was full of bones and everything. It was supposed to be turkey dinner. Oh, see, the crew that I fed the meals to, the ones that get up the steam, they were kept up the fires in the boilers. They were coal burners. There's massive, them big burners down in there. And the one time I brought the food down to them, and the water tender man, he was in charge of the tent, my men. He took his plate of food up to the gold braid, up to his name is Macaulay, the commander on our boat. He took it up to him and told him if he didn't feed them better, they couldn't get up that steam. It helped out a while, but it went right back like it was. Now at Great Lakes, when we was at Great Lakes, some of the barracks were fed real good, and others didn't. I don't know, somebody was jipping, I guess, knocking down there. Because some of them fed good and some didn't.
Did you keep track of this boat? I mean, how long was it in service after the war?
No, I don't know how long. I lost track of it after I left her.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt it was been put in, retired.
Did you get a chance to get off the boat when you got to Europe?
Oh yeah, every day. No, nearly. on my job, when I got my meals off, and washed the dishes and put my table, you had to put your tables up, put them up. They're heavy oak tables. You had to put them, hang them up on the hangers and the benches. Put the benches, had benches on it. And you put them, hang them up. As soon as we got all that done, I was free. So, I'd go to the shore nearly every day. I could go to the shore, you get a pass, see. And in Brest, France, I'd get off the boat, they'd take you over to the land on a tugboat. Ever so often they'd run a, you'd go over and over Brest, France, well, often.
Yeah.
Then you have to be back in certain times. When that boat left to go back, certain time you better be there. See?
What did you do when you were in France?
In France?
Yeah.
Just same thing as our daily job was the same all the time.
But I mean, when you were off the ship.
Oh, well, I got a leave of absence in Brest and went to Paris and all over. Went to Brest to Reims. I saw the Reims Cathedral, and I saw the Notre Dame Cathedral, the one that Big Bertha shot that hole in the ceiling. You remember hearing about that?
Tell us about that.
Huh?
Tell us about that.
There was a hole in the ceiling.
Which cathedral?
That Big Bertha, German shell.
Which cathedral?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, very popular. Very. Then I got I bought a ticket to go to. I wanted to see Shadow Theory, because I read about it. I had so much big battles there. I wanted to see it. I got on the train, bought a ticket to Shadow Theory, and we got to Shadow Theory. I started to get off, and I looked out the plane, off the car, the door, and it was, the building was just all down. There wasn't no city there. Everything was flat. I said, I ain't going to get off here. I'm going to stay on. So there's a big black conductor. He must have been from the French possession, real black as a, he charged me extra for going further. And I went on to Reims, and got off there. And that is a cathedral. Reims Cathedral is very noted, you know that. It had a boarding, they had already had a fence around it to keep people out, because the stuff was falling and it was dangerous. Boy, it was muted. The outside of that building is full of ornaments, set-in statues, and they're beautiful. And then I went out from Reims. We got there was several of us went together, and we had a car took us out into the battlefields where the trenches were, and where the shell holes, there was the bullets and everything laying all over the ground, where they'd been in shell holes.
Yeah.
You had to be careful. You step on something there, shell, the mines. You had to be careful. But those dugouts were for tractors. Man, you could drive a tractor through them. They're big dugouts. They're big. They must put a lot of work on it. So we spent a day up there, going around different things like that.
Was the war still going on?
Oh, no, that was right after the armistice.
I see.
November the 11th. They wouldn't let us off the boat. I was in Brest, France the day of the armistice.
Oh, tell us about that.
They wouldn't let us off. Everybody got drunk, if they would, I guess. They wouldn't let us off the boat that day. But I saw planes and boys, fireworks and everything. It's the city. We was right out in the harbor, anchored out in the harbor. And they really celebrated in France when it was the night of the armistice was over. All kinds of things.
Did you have a celebration on the ship?
I don't recall that they did. I don't recall we did. We just got over with a load of soldiers about 3 days ahead of that, before the armistice was signed. We was on our way over there when he was signed. was 8,000 soldiers. I never did tell you that.
No.
8,000 in a trip. And we brought back a lot of injured, cripples and stuff. And we brought back a human torso in a basket. He didn't have no legs or arms on him. In a basket, and he's in the aisle. We were doing our work. We had to walk around him. He's just in a big basket. Is that something?
Yeah.
When I had to help get the food out of the refrigerators. Two of us would have to carry a quart of beef. Go in there and get the beef out and take it to the galley. I never done any of the cooking, but I waited on the tables and helped get the food out of the galleys, out of the refrigerators.
So what was your job exactly, your rank in the Navy?
The Navy, I went in as a seaman.
Mm-hmm.
But then they put me in this other work, and they changed it to the other force, fireman. Fireman. Then they made me first class.
First class.
Yeah. I had to, one time, coming back from France, they had to get into New York, Hoboken. We anchored at Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yeah.
We had to get in at a certain time on account of the tide. That tide is massive. I'll tell you about that later, but anyhow, they had to get in, and I had to go down to help shovel coal. To get everybody to get available to help to get the steam up, to get in on a high tide.
You said you made 10 trips altogether?
10 round trips, yeah.
Did you take troops over each time?
Yeah. We had all the dignitaries from Washington. Gompers, you remember ever hearing Gomper's name? He's in there, and Delano Roosevelt was a cabinet member at that time. He was in there, and we had a band on the ship, and it was during the Prohibition. And whenever President Wilson come around where they were, they'd play "How Dry I Am." Yeah, but Wilson was a good guy. You could talk to him. He was right down with us, sit on the deck with us, and wore a cap all the time. He was easy to talk to.
What kind of cap?
Just a flat cap. Just a flat cap. We always wore that cap on the ship. His wife was on there with him. She was a beautiful woman. I had a picture of them, and somebody stole them all.
Oh.
They got my sea bag. I had my camera and everything. They'd steal you. You had to, your shoes, you have to put them inside your hammock at night. They'd steal them. They'd steal them. You had all your dungarees and everything, your name printed big on them. Somebody steal them, you didn't. They'd steal a big bunch of thieves. And I was detailed already many times at Great Lakes to clothesline. They had a watchman keep people from stealing them off the clothesline. I watched, ready. You watch something, hang it up, say, you better watch it. They'd get it.
You remember any conversations you had with Woodrow Wilson?
No, not personally, no. I shook hands with him and all that, but nothing that was important. I went to the, while he was at Versailles, at the palace, where they signed the peace treaty. That's a beautiful, the Hall of Mirrors and Hall of Battles. You ever been there?
No.
I've talked to people that have been there. Beautiful, beautiful thing. That's where King Louis lived. And beautiful big gardens had all around it. And the table that he signed that treaty on, I had a postcard, and I sat down at the table and wrote it to my mother and mailed it to her. See, in Gilmore, Missouri. See, that was, we had real free delivery then, in 1918. Then she got my card. I had it for years, but I don't know whatever happened to it.
What was it of?
Huh?
Did it have a picture on it?
No, I don't remember about the picture. It was a postcard. We didn't charge us any postage. You raised sailor's mail. It was right that on there, sailor mail. And that's right.
Did you get mail on the ship?
Huh?
Did you get mail when you were on the ship?
Yeah. Yeah, we got the mail. It was addressed to the ship in New York, and we'd get it.
When you were taking these troops back and forth on the trips across, do you remember any Missouri outfits?
Any Missouri outfit?
Like the 35th Division? Did they ever ride on your ship? Or
I don't know what you mean.
oh, like the Army troops you were taking over?
Oh, yeah. It was the different divisions, rainbow divisions, and that very well famous Marines from, I forget the name of the place, what the names were. They were famous. We took them back and forth. Each one of them, all in different divisions. We'd put 8,000 on there and come back and get some more.
Did you ever have the 35th Division?
I don't remember them.
Don't remember them?
I remember the rainbow and what was that? It's a barracks in East somewhere. The Marines were noted for what's the name of it?
Quantico or
Huh?
Quantico, Virginia?
So you're down in that area?
Camp Lejeune?
Yeah, Camp Lejeune. Lejeune. That's the name I think. We took them over.
How were they on the ship?
Huh?
How were they on the ship?
Oh, they were all right. We never did. We didn't pay attention to them. They just standing. So they put all they could put on there. One time we met at sea. We met the Leviathan. That was a bigger transport than they'd take 14,000 soldiers, Leviathan, and we'd meet them at sea, you know. And one time, naturally, all the sailors on top, the soldiers on top, all tried to get over on that side. They lifted that boat over so much, they had made them get back over. It was danger. And so all the weight was getting side to. It's all balanced, but ballast in the water in the bottom. It would equalize it. They leaned it over too far. They had the Marines. They had 75 Marines stationed on there just to do stuff like that. Watch everything. 75 Marines guarding.
Did you ever see any submarines?
Oh yeah, we saw submarines. One time they shot at us.
You did?
They shot the USS Covington. It was sunk in our convoy on the way back from France. I had a picture of it. It went down, endways down. About half I was up out of the water. I had a picture of that going.
Are there any survivors?
I don't remember about that. It was on the way back, fortunately. It wasn't loaded. Oh, no, they had to lose some, though. You couldn't help that.
Yeah. How many ships were in a convoy?
Oh, it depends on, when Woodrow Wilson was on there, we had lots of ships, big dreadnoughts, super dreadnoughts, 3 or 4 of them, and destroyers. The worst storm that I saw was when Woodrow Wilson was on there. I'm telling you, we went through a storm that the big dreadnoughts went to the Azore to get out of it, and we had to stay out there and take it. They just stayed, and the waves that hit broke the lifeboats, the wooden lifeboats in. I don't know what they are now, but they're all wooden, and they broke them things like kindling. The waves brushed over, and he went through that. I'm telling you, and when you was feeding them guys, the coffee pot would hang on a rod from the ceiling. It could swing, see? It's on a copper rod, hang down, you'd hang it on a hook. And you'd grab it and hold it and pour your coffee and turn it loose and it'd swing. And they was particular about that. You better keep that. That was my job as a mess attendant to see that coffee pot was clean too. I saw those officers who have on white gloves and a flashlight and shine it in those coffee pots. And we'll go in there and just see if we keep them clean. Boy, they was rough. Then there wouldn't be no trip over. No way. I couldn't stand that. The discipline was terrible.
Did they punish you?
Huh?
Did they punish the sailors?
Furnish them.
Punish?
Huh?
Did I turn that on?
Yeah, I did. Did you give them? Did they punish the sailors? You talked about the discipline.
Yeah.
What kind of discipline did they have?
They had food and water.
Food and water.
I took many bread and water, I meant to say.
Yeah.
Not food and water, but many times I took it to the place they had them locked up. They'd lock them up and wouldn't let you out. And many times I took it down and handed it to them through the window. Food, water, and bread, that's all, for so many days. Bread and water. That's discipline.
Did you see any airplanes?
Oh yeah, yes, biplanes, lots of biplanes, and no jets. And lots of observation balloons. They had lots of them then. See them in the sky. Observation. You know, balloons had them in France all over.
Did you ever take any planes on your ship across?
Plane? No. No, I never did go across on the water. Never did.
Let's see.
Did you get anything?
Oh yeah. You know, this lady that brought you in here, Mrs. Her son is a sports writer for the Post-Dispatch.
Oh yeah.
Eisenbath. You ever see? You don't get this supposed to. He's a writer for them, and I told her that. I asked her one day if you listen.
Yeah. I'm right there.
I asked her one day if she was interested in that. I said, about 85 years ago, the Post-Dispatch or the Globe, I don't know which it was, wanted me to send them a picture and writing on account of volunteering for that operation to get in the Navy. And I said I couldn't on account of quarantine, I couldn't follow it through. Your son is a writer. I wonder if he would be interested in looking that up.
Huh.
She said, I'll tell him, but anything ever come of it.
Did something appear in a paper at that time?
Huh?
Did something appear in a newspaper at that time?
They mailed it to, had it put in the Great Lakes paper.
Great
They
Lakes.
wanted me to send my picture and a write-up about myself. They wanted to put it in the St. Louis papers because I went through that operation to get in the service.
Was the Great Lakes paper just
There's a
produced
publication every so often there, issued there.
at the camp?
Yeah, at Great Lakes. I just thought they ought to follow that up.
Do you know what month that would have been?
What?
What the month and year?
It was about, I would say that was about probably May or June of 1918. I wish they dig that up. It'd be worth it hearing.
Yeah.
I might get a citation for it. Huh? Get,
You never know. You remember the Statue of Liberty coming back?
oh man, hundreds of times. We went right by it, back and forth. And the island where they Ambrose lightship. We saw that all the time too. Ambrose is a lightship out there. That was such a liberty. It was just plain to see that ever back and forth. Went right by it.
You remember when you were bringing the troops home, what they said about seeing the Statue of Liberty?
They was all happy to see it, I'll tell you that. Yes. One time we left France in the afternoon, beautiful day, and going out the harbor, you go through the islands, leaving France, coming back with a load of soldiers. And we wasn't out of sight of land. And that whole crew, I mean the soldiers on that loaded with them, they was all vomiting all over the decks, seasick. They hadn't got outside of land yet. And the sailors were going around with hoses, washing it off.
How long did the trip take going across?
8 days.
8 days.
8 days average. We did a little zigzag in there. It was 8 days, but we wouldn't see land or nothing. And another thing that was very observing was you'd watch a ship going past the ship, you watch it till it disappeared. The last thing you'd see of that ship was the smoke. It went over the hill. You see it gradually going down. I don't understand it, but it's true. You can't give them mileage on a ship, on the water. You don't know how far it is. It's miles. And when they dropped depth bombs on those submarines.
Was that from your ship?
Yeah, not from our ship. No, we didn't. We had guns on there, but then not no depth bombs. That was done by the destroyers going around those small boats. Because I've seen them drop, when they say there's a submarine around there, they'd drop a depth bomb on them. And boy, the repercussion from that bomb going off hit our ship sound like a big steel hammer hitting inside the ship. It must be massive. It blew a U-boat to pieces, I bet.
Did they ever sink one?
Huh?
Did they ever sink one, a submarine?
See a submarine?
Did they ever sink a submarine?
Sink them? No, not that I know of. We would never know it, probably. They'd probably never know it either.
What kind of guns did you have on your ship?
What kind of what?
Guns?
Guns? I don't remember. They had one on that back end, back on the aft. Back, forecastle, and then back on the, they had I don't know, it was a one that they could turn it around. There wasn't no big one. Hello?
Did you ever get to operate the gun?
Did you operate a gun? No. Oh, we had military when he was in Great Lakes with guns practicing.
What kind of guns did you practice with?
And I never fired any. We just were drilling with them.
Oh, okay.
No, I never fired a gun.
Did you learn to tie knots?
Huh?
Did you learn to...
That was my brother's job. My brother was in there. He worked with that kind of stuff. Knots and tent and all that stuff.
Yeah. I still get reflections.
Where's that tape?
Over here.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Check. Check the tape here. Still running. Okay. When they had President Wilson on there,
Yeah.
where did he stay on the ship?
Oh, he had his own quarters. He was up in the, he had a,
Does that come off the wall very easy?
huh?
Does that ship picture come off the wall?
And he just put it up with a lot of tape all over it.
Oh. There
Boy,
it is.
I wish you'd get a picture of it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Did they have a lot of guards around Wilson?
Oh yeah, we didn't know who. Before he come on there, they went over us too. Make sure we was on the right side. You know what I mean? They went over everybody and make sure they was. And there they had all those Marines on, 75 Marines on there, all stationed on there. Oh, I'll tell you about one time the garbage. I had to take care of the garbage from our table, and you couldn't take it and throw it overboard on account of submarines.
Oh.
The submarines that see that stuff, they know there's a ship around. And so you had to put it in a bin, had a big bin on the back up on the top deck. You had to take your garbage back there. If they take your garbage and put it in that bin, and then during the night they dump that bin out during the night, so the submarines wouldn't see it. See, and anyhow, one day I was taking that garbage in my bucket up the ladder. There's ladders, there's metal ladders. I was going up to halfway up, and a big wave hit the side of my ship. My ladder went straight up and down. I had to grab the rail and turn the bucket loose, and the garbage went down on the stairs. I had to turn it loose. A wave hit the side of the ship, and my ladder was straight up and down. Instead of being straight up, I had to turn it loose.
Did they make you clean it up?
I cleaned it up.
Yeah.
I know they wasn't upset about it. I just had to clean it up.
Anybody ever fall overboard?
Fall over? No, but they did. They had a burial at sea.
Oh.
If somebody died, they buried him at sea.
Were these sailors or soldiers that they buried at sea?
It wasn't. I think it was a sailor, one of the crew. I don't remember what the reason for it was, but I remember it happening. Mm-hmm. They wrapped him in. Well, looked from best of my memory, wrapped him in white sheets and set him overboard. I think you'd think they'd bring him back to the country, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't remember why that was, but it really happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it interesting to you?
Yeah.
You think it'd make the pages in that manual? You think they'll accept it in it and for your
An exhibit?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh? No problem.
No
Will it? Huh?
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You can come back again.
Yeah, I thought it was probably something
Sir?
I'm forgetting to ask you.
I didn't get that.
I said, it's probably something I'm forgetting to ask you.
Yeah.
Let's see. When you took Wilson over for the League of Nations,
Yeah.
did you get to go to any of that, or did they keep you on the ship?
No, I never saw any of that. No, I never saw any of that. No, that was all. We took him to Antwerp, Belgium one time too.
Oh,
I remember they had a meeting up there or something, and we went up the English Channel. That English Channel is rough, water's rough. You can tell, when you're on the ship, you can tell when you're in the channel. When you're on the English, as soon as you get up from the ocean to the English Channel, you can tell the difference. It's always choppy. It's never calm. It's always choppy. One time out of 20, we could have followed the bus back over in a canoe. It was that calm. One time out of 20, you could have went all across, followed it this level. But the rest of them, you couldn't depend on them.
Did you get to go to England?
No, I saw the White Cliffs of Dover from the English Channel.
Yeah.
No, I never got it.
Did you ever see any of the Germans after the war?
No. The prisoners?
Mm-hmm.
No, I never saw it.
How long would you stay in New York when you came back each time?
It long enough to reload. It's coal and water. It would take them. We averaged one a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About that. Take them, and we get to France, you'd have to reload. They put that. It's coal they used. It wasn't lump coal. It was pulverized.
Pulverized.
Yeah, scoop shop. They put it in. You ought to seen them fire burners. It was down in the fire where they fired them burners. Those firemen, the fire doors, they'd scoop it in there, and the morning they'd shovel that pulverized in there, and the flame would come out. They'd have to duck a flame every time. A lot of them would have blisters all over their arms.
Huh.
Those guys really took a beating. They have to, you'd have to, every time you shoveled in, that flame would jump out about 5 or 6 feet out that door. And they had to duck it every time. Yeah, now that fire door, where the fireman was down below, there was a lot of decks down, way down, that's right down the bottom of the boat. We went, at nights I had to take lunch down to them, sandwiches down to them, those guys down there in the fire, where they take the sandwiches down to them, certain time every night. Only kind to my crew. I'd take the sandwiches down there, and boy, way down. You just go downstairs and kept going down the metal ladders, to down to the fire room. Those guys down there, they gave you 4 on. I think they worked 4 on and 8 off, and they were all black as could be. Every one of them when they got off, had to go into from the fire net. It's rough.
Did the ship ever spring any leaks?
Huh?
Did the ship ever leak?
Leaks?
Leak? Did the ship ever have any water come in it?
Oh, no. No, if you left, I've had the water come in the, what do you call them?
Hatch?
Oh, no. The hatch. No, they have them sealed down. But the windows, what do you call them?
Portholes?
Portholes. Water splash in there already. Yeah, I've seen water splash in there. Because the water's right outside there.
Did you ever get to fish off the ship?
And if you do what?
Did you fish off the ship?
Fish, no. We one time about a dozen of us sailors was anchored there in Brest, France, and we lowered. I don't know how we got by with it, but we did. About a dozen of us took lowered one of those lifeboats down off the side, and got in it. Went over to the land, and got in a Frenchman's strawberry field. That boy used to, that guy talking French, he run us out. They didn't have, their fences, the fences were, most of them was made out of stone walls, about that high. and vines all over them. We'd jump over them things, go in there and get us. I have a sailor hat full of strawberries. Boy, that old man come run out there and run us out. But the point I wanted to bring out was, when we left that boat to go in there, everybody jumped out as soon as they got to land. They would jump out and said, somebody better stay here and watch this ship, because this boat, because the tide was coming in. Anyhow, there were several stay there to watch it. You have to guide it through those big boulders all on the bank there. It's pretty level. And it's a darn good thing, because when we come back, we was way different from where we left. The tide comes way in, you know. It's a good thing you did watch it, because that boat would hit one of them boulders as it come in, big rocks. So,
The strawberries good?
oh, delicious. You like strawberries?
Yeah.
For 20 years, I picked all the strawberries I wanted every week in Florida. Every Monday, I'd go out and pick strawberries. One time, he was a good friend of mine. I went out there one day to get some, and he gave me 12 flats. You know the flats? He gave me 12 of them. I had them in my Cadillac. 12 flats, and I took them out and gave them to friends. He gave them to me. Good, the best. I had a lot of good friends down there. I got 100 birthday cards. That shows you must have been somebody must have knew me. I got a.
How old were you when you enlisted?
I was about 20, I guess. Look at this picture here. Yeah, when the sisters here took it from.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, nice picture. And it was taken down in our chapel.
Oh, that is nice.
Is that nice?
Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. Like I said, you don't look a day over 75.
Huh?
Don't look a day over 75.
Maybe they made a mistake somewhere. It's the same thing.
What did you do after World War I?
After World War I got a job at the First National Bank here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I told you about that.
Yeah.
$27.50 every 2 weeks. I worked there 4.5 years. And I left, I was getting $75 a month. And then I went to work for, I worked for Skull and Steel. You remember Skull and Steel on Manchester in St. Louis? I kept perpetual inventory for them. Everything that went in that plant or out, I had to record it, pricing it. I had 55 cents an hour. I worked there till I took the postal examination. And after I took that, I had waited 4.5 years before they called me. I made a good grade, but there was 20,000 took that examination. Everybody was out of work then. I was during the Depression.
Oh.
And after I left the Terminal Railroad, I was working at the Terminal Railroad when the $3.91 a day is what they paid when the Depression hit. And 20 years seniority was nothing. You couldn't buy a job. I had a hard time then from then on till I work till I got back. Then I was a substitute in the post office went in there at 65 cents an hour. 4.5 years of that. And if you showed up and didn't get a job, you didn't get nothing for it. Now they do.
Yeah. How long did you work for the post office?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Did you retire from them?
Yeah. In 1961. I think my top salary then, what do you think it was? Well, I'll tell you what it was when I started. 2,100. I don't remember what year that was. After I finished subbing, 2,100 was top salary.
Yeah.
2,100 a year. When I left there, it was 5,000.
5,000.
Today it's about 30.
Yeah.
As soon as I retired, they started going up.
Yeah.
They did about a year afterwards.
Huh.
Like they based it on, they based your retirement on your salary plus your years. And I went to Florida. We went down there, drove down there, and I was driving a Ford that I bought from Punman. Well, you don't know them.
No.
In St. Charles, Punman Motor. I bought a Ford from them. And I drove that thing back and forth. Every October, while I was working in the post office, the wife and I would go to Florida and spend a month down there. And then when I retired, I went down there to stay. I liked it there.
You remember when Lindbergh came to St. Louis?
I remember the day it happened.
Do you?
Yeah, Spirit of St. Louis. I was working at the Terminal Railroad at the time.
Tell us about that.
What?
Did you get to see the plane, or?
I don't remember ever seeing it. It's on display now, but I never did see it. No.
Must be something I've forgotten there.
I delivered meals till I was 98 years old. Can you imagine that? driving to old people. I'm going to tell you about one case that I delivered meals to. One day they told me we got a new people for you to deliver to. They don't have an address, but we can tell you they're between two streets, and their house is in big high weeds. You just have to go between the blocks and look back in there and see if you can find it. Okay, I did it, and I found that little two-room frame, the white frame, back in the weeds as high as the house, and on the back. They told me to go to the back door, and I knocked on the door. The porch was all full of holes. The back porch. I had knocked on the door, and they said, "Come in," and I opened that door. And there was an old man, he whiskers down to his belt, demented, sitting behind the door. And his wife had her leg up on a chair, all bandaged. The two of them sitting there like in a little bitty kitchen. And I had the meals for them. And I delivered meals to them for years. He died, and they couldn't get no mail delivery there. So every time I took her meal, I had to go to the post office. I'd volunteer to do it. Went to the post office and got her mail for her. She'd have to give me a written request to get the mail. And I'd get it. I'd take her shopping, and she'd hobble around on that one leg and wait for her to get her groceries. I just put up with that for a long time. And finally, he died, and she had to go to. She was on help from the government. They was giving her checks. I was delivering her checks. So I had to get the post office from the post office for her. And so eventually she had to go to the hospital. And she said she wanted to know if I would take care of some of her she had a suitcase full of papers. and she wanted me to take care of them for her while she was in the hospital. I said, no way, I didn't want to fool with her papers. She said there was checks in there had never been cashed. And said, I said, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. She said, I don't trust anybody else. And I said, I'll do one thing. If you lock that thing up, I'll put it in my back of my turtle, under my Cadillac. I'll put it in there and I won't ever open it. She said, okay. So she went to the hospital, and they took her from the hospital to a nursing home. And I had that thing in the back of my car, that grip full of papers. I didn't open it. And so one day, a lady called me on the phone, some relative of her from out of town called me and said, I'm going to see my cousin or whatever it was at the nursing home. I'd like to meet you. I said, I'll be there. I took that grip and went up there, and she was in bed. And I put that grip on the bed, and boy, I was glad to get rid of it. I don't know whatever happened to it. Is that a story?
Yeah. Why do you think you lived to be 100?
What?
Why do you think you lived to be 100?
I think it's genes. Genes. I had a grandmother. My grandmother was over 100. I think it's somewhere related to. They say if you want to know how old you're going to be, he says, ask your grandma.
Or grandma.
Did you ever smoke?
Never smoked a cigarette in my life. Not the way they say. A lot of them told me that's the reason you're here. I had a lot of experience with that with people. I've seen it happen so much. No cigarettes for mine.
What about your diet?
Diet. After my wife was in the nursing home for a long time, I did all my own cooking. I did cook all kinds of good vegetables. I make soups and things like that. Get things I liked. I could make good. I made strawberry preserves, watermelon preserves, and all that kind of stuff. In Florida, I could cook. I'd buy turkey back, fresh turkey back. Put that in a kettle and cut half a head of cabbage with it, potatoes and onions.
Good.
Put all that in there, all the vegetables I could think of. Put some of it in there. Cook it, boil it down good. Boy, did that taste good. Put garlic in there and everything. It was good eating. And I'd put it in the refrigerator and use what do you call it, for heating it up. What do you call it? Yeah.
Microwave?
Microwave, yeah, I had a microwave.
How long has your wife been dead?
She died in '88.
What was her name?
Helen Hayden.
What was her maiden name?
Pereau, P-E-R-E-A-U.
Okay.
She's a French girl. That's her picture there, that brown, in that frame there.
Did you meet her in France?
Huh?
Did you meet her in France?
No, she was, I met her in St. Louis. Is that pretty?
Yeah. I'm going to give it to you. You can hold it up and I'll...
Huh?
I'm going to let you hold it and I'll take a
Okay.
picture.
Okay. Is that pretty?
Yeah, very pretty.
Where did you all meet at? In St. Louis, you said?
In St. Louis, she lived there. Her father was a printer. He originally had the St. Charles Banner newspaper. He had part of his hand cut off in the press.
Huh.
His left hand. 4 fingers cut off in a press. Her father. The St. Charles Banner. Did you see it?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have any pictures of you when you were young?
I had a lot of them, but I think most of them, I never brought them down here. It's my niece's house.
Oh, what's their name?
Betty Dusenberry. Dusenberry. She lives here in St. Charles.
Oh, okay.
Dusenberry. Betty Dusenberry. You talked to her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'll ask her if she's got some of those pictures.
Yeah, she might have them.
Okay.
Yeah, she may have them now. I had a lot of pictures at one time. Would you be interested in hearing my incident happened to me in Florida at the Holiday Inn?
Okay.
One day, on delivering Meals on Wheels, every year they'd have a big dinner for everybody that worked. And they always had it at the Holiday Inn, big dining rooms. And this particular time, I went in that hotel. When I went in the hotel, it was filling up with people. The dining room was about half full, filling up, and a lady negotiator, she was on the microphone talking, and her husband was sitting at the table beside her, and he saw me. I knew him, and he saw me. He begged me to come up and sit by the side of him. And when I got up there, she was on the microphone. I heard her say, "He's 95 years old, and he's delivering meals 2 days a week, and bragging on me." And I said to her husband, I said, "She's talking about me." She never said nothing to me about this. And then she says, "I give you him. Hand me the microphone." That room was filled with people. And I took that microphone. I said, "Everybody wants to," this is the part I want you to hear. "Everybody wants to know what my secret is of the longevity." I was at ease. It didn't bother me. And I said, "Everybody wants to know." I said, "I decided the Lord blessed me for delivering Meals on Wheels for 18 years, so 2 days a week. And I had a big hand there. I was in business. And I said, "The Lord blesses you for things like that, and you don't know He's doing it." I said, "You might have had an accident on the way to this meal, and it was avoided, and you don't even know it happened." I said, "I'll give you an illustration. This actually happened in that Holiday Inn." I said, "I'll give you an illustration." I said, one time there was a man standing by his house, and a big flood dam broke, and the water come running down around that guy's house, and getting deep, and a boat come by. The man in the boat says, "Get in, you're going to drown." And he said, "No, I'll make it. I've got faith, and I'm praying. I'll make it." So the water kept getting deeper, and he got a hold of the gutter and pulled himself up on the roof. The water kept getting deeper. Another boat come by. And he turned it down. He said, "No, I'm going to see this out." He wouldn't get in. And the water kept getting deeper, and he got up on the chimney. And a helicopter come over and lowered his rope ladder down and said, "Get a hold of the rope, we'll pull you up." He said, No, I won't do it." But he fell off the chimney and drowned. And he went to heaven. He saw the Lord, and he said, "Lord, I don't understand." He says, I had faith, I prayed, and you let me drown. And the Lord says, "I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter." That actually happened in Florida. Is that worth it? Is that worth telling you?
Yeah. Yeah. You remember when you were real small, what kind of things you got for Christmas?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about Christmas back then.
Firecrackers and an orange. A bunch of firecrackers and an orange, and But no money. We never had no money. Didn't know what that was. They put it in a stocking, and they had. At that time, they didn't have. They used real candles. Little candles was a holder, and my sisters are all older than me, and they light them candles. Oh no, actually, light them on there on that. They had a Christmas tree every winter.
What kind of decorations besides the candles?
They had some. I don't remember just what it was. Some kind of frosting of some kind. But they had a tree, and we had to go to bed Christmas Eve, and there's three of my brothers was older, and then there's three of us younger. I was the third from the bottom, and I had a brother 2 years younger, and then four years younger than me. See, I was the third from the bottom, and I was around 7 or 8 years old, and they were little kids. Papa would come. We had to sleep up. We slept upstairs. He'd come to the door and holler, "Santa Claus come!" We'd come down them steps, boy. Scary.
You just have an orange and firecrackers.
Firecrackers and orange. That's about the size of it. What'd you get when you was little?
Farm.
Huh?
Cardboard farm.
Farm.
Cardboard farm.
Oh, cardboard? Yeah. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't, my father, we didn't have any money. Poor. My father raised hogs. He'd ship a carload of hogs every year to St. Louis, and a carload of wheat every year. That was his biggest income. But today, at that time, it wasn't. The expenses would eat that all up. We butchered 8 hogs every winter. 8 pork, 250-pound hogs. Boy, you talk about good eating. That meat never don't taste like what you buy in the stores. No way. Boy, that's good. No, did you know the difference?
Yeah.
Did you have that experience?
Yeah, my uncle used to have a farm.
Huh?
My uncle used to have a farm.
Did that never taste that better?
Yeah.
We had a big asparagus bed. You know how to keep the weeds out of it?
Salt?
Huh?
Salt?
With salt. Salt water, brine. Well, when he all that pork, when he get it through seasoning, he wash it in salt water, you know, he's washing. That brine, pour that all over that asparagus bed. There wasn't no weeds and nothing would come up asparagus.
I heard that. Yeah. I will see if I can find some batteries and get a better picture of you here. I know I put them in here someplace. Yeah, the thing's on.
Now, see that prayer in that folder behind you, that prayer there.
Yeah.
Every day at noon, I say that on a loudspeaker here. That's prayer. Every day I say that on a loudspeaker. It goes over the whole building.
Just here. I'm gonna try a couple shots like this and see how it works. Take a while to recycle, I'm sure.
Will any of this get in the local paper?
I doubt Yeah, we just kind of working on an exhibit.
Yeah, yeah.
The exhibit will be in the Capitol.
When is that?
It'll be 4th of July.
Next 4th of July. Well, a long time to wait.
Oops, it didn't work yet. Batteries are weak,
Yeah.
real weak.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, we're gonna set up.
Pretty sure I was sitting on it this morning. Should remove it here in a second. Who made your other video?
Sir?
Who made the other video you talked about?
I didn't get that.
You got the other tape talking about your World War I experiences?
Yeah, the other video that you had, they were made.
I got tape of it.
Yeah, who made that for you?
I made it.
Oh, you made it.
I've talked into it myself.
Oh, I see.
There we go.
I've got another tape I made myself. There's nothing on it but jokes. Nothing on there but jokes. One joke right after the, I made a whole tape full of jokes at one sitting.
Oh my! How could you remember all those?
That's where the remarkable situation comes in.
Certainly is.
Incredible.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah. Got one more when it warms up.
Yeah, it's getting to be cold as well. We probably not be going to eat.
You got it?
Yeah, one of those will work.
Ought to be some good ones out of them.
Oh yeah. Said his prayer back over there.
Yeah. Cool, right? Let's see, we can let this cool down. Yeah.
This way we didn't have on.
Yeah.
Want to turn the tape off?
Gotta be. You think you'll pack it all up again now. Would you say it was a success?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Very much so?
Yes.
All right, from 1 to 10.
You know, if you can redo that again,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll hand hold the camera and we'll turn the light on.
Okay.
From 1 to 10, how much? Right, success.
Oh, at least 9.5.
9.5? That's darn near, that's almost good as ivory soap.
Why, yeah.
99.
You're right. 9.
Oh, you know one thing? I should have had my cap on. I got a one cap.
Oh, do you?
It's in the cabinet there.
Oh, I'll get you another picture of you doing that.
Yeah. Well, I forgot all about that cap. Yeah, by all means, I should have had that on when you picture it.
Stay on this end.
Yeah.
Mailman.